I would say. And so that was, so for 8 years though, it was a lot of shit going on. Michael Saylor kind of kicked off a new era. I call it the Michael Saylor era that we're in now. And I think the next step is going to be, it might be the Janet Yellen era, because Janet Yellen just came out with a statement that was very, constructive about Bitcoin, and talking about it in a way that shows that she actually kind of understands it. So now this might be the new era where we're on the sovereign level, where banks start to really accumulate Bitcoin and start mining Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. So that could be the story of the next 12 months.
Max Keiser is an American broadcaster and a staunch Bitcoin bull who has been in the scene for over a decade. He is popular for hosting the Keiser Report, a financial program that featured unconventional economics theories. It ended in February 2022, and since then, Keiser seems to be fully dedicated to Bitcoin in El Salvador. In a recent interview, Keiser discusses the various phases of Bitcoin's development. According to him, we are currently in the professional or institutional phase championed by MicroStrategy CEO, Michael Saylor. Keiser says this phase started about 2 years ago when the MicroStrategy boss decided to adopt the Bitcoin strategy for his analytics firm. According to Keiser, the next phase will be even better for Bitcoin as sovereign funds and more financial institutions will invest in the crypto asset and offer crypto-related services to their clients. This phase, Keiser believes, started with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's favorable remarks on Bitcoin and other crypto assets. Please watch the video to the end, share, and hit the like button. You could also drop your comments below and subscribe to the channel. Everything helps with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks and enjoy.
But the message is pretty much the same. As Simon and I were at Bitcoin in 2011 in Prague, and it was freaks and geeks and, practically homeless people were there. And over the years, now we're at Bitcoin 2022, and you've got people like Kevin O'Leary and Michael Saylor and Scaramucci and these folks who are very dapper, very finely coiffed, very professional, and part of the mainstream media. And so Bitcoin has a different sheen, a different look at these conferences. But the message is largely the same. The thing about Bitcoin is everything was in the Genesis block, and no one has really had anything original to say about it for years now, because it's the protocol itself is the standard around which all other forms of value and money are migrating toward. So that's really the only message, Andy, is that, we used to say software is eating the world, and the iPhone has 30 different devices or more that you used to carry around, and it's all in one iPhone. This is Bitcoin, is eating value around the world, whether it's cash, stocks, bonds, commodities. It's all going to end up in Bitcoin. And that's the big trend, that's just been true since day one, and it'll be true for the next 10 years. What I call the Michael Saylor era, which started about 2 years ago, was really a step up. It was really the beginning of Bitcoin as a serious professional industry, I would say. And so for 8 years though, it was a lot of shit going on. Michael Saylor kind of kicked off a new era. I call it the Michael Saylor era that we're in now. And I think the next step is going to be, it might be the Janet Yellen era, because Janet Yellen just came out with a statement that was very, constructive about Bitcoin, and talking about it in a way that shows that she actually kind of understands it. So now this might be the new era where we're on the sovereign level, where banks start to really accumulate Bitcoin and start mining Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. So that could be the story of the next 12 months.
What are you seeing in terms of investment opportunities now with respect to Bitcoin companies or supporting the ecosystem overall?
Well, Simon and I, going back to 2013, we started Bitcoin Capital 1, 2, and 3, which was really the first VC fund in Bitcoin. And at that time, the focus was on exchanges. My background is really with exchanges. Simon had launched a platform which was able to kind of prove a proof of concept, if you will. And so we ended up buying into Kraken at the seed round, and Bitso and Bitfinex, and the exchange business is really one. There's only two businesses that have come out of this industry, and that's the exchange business and the mining industry. And so the exchanges have done really well. And so now in 2022 with El Zonte Capital, It's really focusing on hyper Bitcoinization. So anything that takes us closer to creating a circular economy, like we saw in El Zonte, in El Salvador, the people there are living or getting toward living on a Bitcoin standard, where they're paid in Bitcoin, they're spending Bitcoin, they're saving in Bitcoin, and they're completely divorced from the IMF and the World Bank and all the colonial interests that come from up north in the U.S. And other countries in the region are quickly figuring out that this is a fantastic thing.
Last month, a subsidiary of MicroStrategy acquired a $205 million loan from Silvergate Bank. The collateral for the loan was a part of MicroStrategy's large Bitcoin holdings. According to the announcement, the loan will be used to purchase even more Bitcoin for MicroStrategy. In his interview, Keiser speaks extensively about the deal and how it can impact the Bitcoin industry. He explains that even more banks and financial institutions will get involved, which will drastically lower the interest rate and benefit investors.
So with the fund, anything that, we're looking at startups, early stage companies that are going to be pushing the hyper Bitcoinization mantra forward. Certainly, you would definitely need more education. So anything in ed tech is, education technology would definitely be looking at it. But I'm also discovering, on the ground what's happening. So we're in El Salvador quite often, and so we're just out there actually, kicking the tires, talking to people, and finding out on the ground, what people are doing, and just finding out where the momentum and the energy is, and going that way. One company that we're already involved with would be Jan3, which is Samson Mo's new company. He left Blockstream and he's starting a company in El Salvador. It's called Jan3, and he's all about spreading Bitcoin sovereign legal tender to different countries and all the infrastructure that goes with that. So that's already pretty much earmarked to be in the fund. So that's where we're at. Michael Saylor is kind of leading the way, right? He just did a deal with what's the name of the bank? Silvergate.
Yep.
And so he put up some Bitcoin and borrowed 200 million to buy more Bitcoin. And I was talking to some folks at the conference. I believe he paid 5.25% for that, which is Alden is a service. I think that they are. It's a 7.9% is the interest that they're charging folks to borrow against their Bitcoin. I talked to Adam as well at the conference, and I looked into Alden. It looks pretty good. But as you say, you can get rug pulled on the volatility without having a longer term instrument. So that would be helpful. But clearly, it's not. You have this pristine asset, so if you can borrow against it, then you don't get the tax liability. And for a lot of us, our cost basis, is in the single digits. So clearly, if you're selling at any at 40,000, that's quite a tax hit. So that's welcome, very welcome. So yeah, these platforms are coming around. I would imagine that the institutions and the banks that make their money making loans principally are going to get more involved in this core business that they're in. They're in this core business as more banks become custodians, and that's a fairly recent development, right? Mellon Bank in New York is now a custodian for Bitcoin, and banks have become official custodians of their Bitcoin. So all the infrastructure of the banking is coming to Bitcoin. It allows for them to offer traditional types of products, and there will be competition amongst these banks, and so interest could come down, should come down, and the power is shifting from the fiat money world to the Bitcoin world. And the Bitcoiners are starting to have a lot of political clout in Washington. They're having political clout in different countries around the world. They're having clout within corporations that are, pushing for greater Bitcoin exposure on the balance sheet. So Bitcoin is becoming, as we've often said, it's such a perfect asset and such perfect money, and it's so indisputably perfect that its path toward this type of domination of the financial world was inevitable, as everybody says, and so now we're seeing that play out.
Bitcoin has indeed had several phases of development with many more to come. By the time one or two more countries make a legal tender, there will be lots of interesting developments for Bitcoin and other top cryptocurrencies. Let's take a quick look at the market. The crypto market has recovered slightly from last week's scare. At $41,508, Bitcoin is up by 5% over the past 7 days and around 0.50% over the past 24 hours. Ethereum has also recaptured the $3,000 support at $3,100 and has gained 3.11% over the past week and 0.32% in the last 24 hours. Binance is currently exchanging hands at $422. It is up by 2.37% over the past week and 0.58% in the last 24 hours. Solana has increased by 3.83% to $107.96 over the past week. Terra is currently the top gainer among the top cryptocurrencies. As of press time, Terra is exchanging hands at $96.73, up by 10.64% in the past week and 4% in the last 24 hours. We have come to the end of the video. Please drop your comments and observations below and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.